Blitz Uncommon Fossil. Today I want to talk about Goodra Lost Zone. Obviously, we know Lost Zone's a super strong engine, and you may already be familiar with the Hisuian Goodra Vstar, a very good Pokemon. It can work with Lost Zone. It can also work with Arceus. I think the Lost Zone gives you more flexibility, so I kind of prefer this build. I've been kind of messing around with it a little bit, trying to get the build maximized for the current matchups. We'll talk about some of the options and things that you may want to do to change it to suit your playstyle a little more. But obviously it's featuring Hisuian Goodra Vstar, 270 HP Dragon Pokemon, so it does have no weakness, which is a plus. And it's got a very good attack, Rolling Iron for does 200 damage for Water, Metal, Colorless. And then during your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 80 less damage from attacks. So very nice. So 270, and then of course you add that extra 80 onto it, gets it up to 350 if it has no damage on it and your opponent needs to one-shot it. So very difficult to do. So a tanky deck is its basic design, and 200 damage is a solid number. Obviously we have the different energy types as a dragon, which is why we use the Lost Zone engine to get that paid off. Oh, it also has a very useful V-Star power. I don't want to forget that. Moisture Star. During your turn, you may heal all damage from this Pokemon. So you heal off all damage once in the game. So therefore, usually your opponent has to two-shot Goodra Vstar anyway. Now with Moisture Star, it's another 3. It becomes a 3 or a 4-shot hits into it to knock it out, and that gives you a very good chance to win the game. So it plays the Lost Zone engine, like I said, so 4 Comfeys with Flower selecting to look at the top 2 cards in your deck, put 1 into the Lost Zone, put 1 into your hand, so it helps get going, get set up. 1 Cramorant, right? That's early on in the game. You want to hit with Cramorant. That's kind of a turn, maybe 2 turns, but after that, you just want Goodra. So 1 Cramorant probably is enough. We don't play Psychic Energy, so no Sableye is an option. 1 Radiant Greninja to help set up with concealed cards, right? You discard an energy from hand, you draw 2. Also, because we do play Water Energy, and we have Mirage Gate, we can attack with Moonlight Shuriken for 3 energy, water, colorless. We do 90 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon, but you discard 2 energy from it. So it's difficult to stream, but it is possible. But often just 1 shot, take out like a couple of Comfeys off your opponent, or Curlias can put you in a good spot, taking out their engine and grabbing a couple prizes. And then also 1 Drapion V just to help with the Mew matchup, which can be tricky. The energy count is just 5 metal, 6 water. The extra water because of the Radiant Greninja, right? We might want to attack with that, so the extra water helps with that. Plus, we also do play Melony, so water getting in the discard is a plus there. So 1 extra water. You could play a V-Guard energy. Some lists do. I would play that in addition to these energies. I don't think I'd want to drop an energy, a basic energy, in which case deck space is the issue. So a number of trainers, and there's a few options with the way this goes. This is where the deck gets complicated, a little tricky, figure out exactly what trainers you want in it. So 2 Ultra Ball, obviously to help set up, you got to get the V-Star, so it gives access to the evolution Pokemon, and you can discard some things which you may or may not want to do. 4 switch cards for Escape Rope, because with the Comfeys, we got to get the cards in and out of the active early on quickly. 1 Energy Recycler. We want to, if we're discarding energy with Radiant Greninja's ability, or with an attack, or even if a Goodra gets knocked out that has energy on it, we need energies in the deck so that we can use Mirage Gate effectively. So 1 Energy Recycler to help with that. I play 1 Fantina. This is a card I like. It's in the deck. It might not be the strongest card in the deck. You might want to consider dropping it. I'm still thinking about whether it's worth it or not. You can only use this card if you have 10 or more cards in the Lost Zone. You can't use it till late game, but you can get there for sure. And then what happens during your opponent's next turn, all of your Pokemon take 120 less damage from your opponent's Pokemon V. So it only helps against V Pokemon, but V Pokemon are certainly very meaningful. Then if someone has an Urshifu VMAX, right, and they hit into the bench, it's doing no damage there, right? So they can't even take out a Comfey on the bench. with it and such. So, and obviously the other Vs are very dangerous Vs, VMAXs, V-Star. So reducing the damage adds to the tankiness of the Goodra Vstar. I like it. For Battle VIP Pass, we just need to get our Comfey's Cramorant set up turn 1 so we can get things going. To Melony, we want to be able to, it accelerates an energy, a water energy to a V from the discard, and we draw 3 cards, so quite nice there. 1 Pokégear, just to kind of help search and stuff. This is a card that could get dropped and replaced with something else. 1 Crystal Cave, again, just going with the tankiness of the deck. Each player may heal 30 damage from each of their Metal or Dragon Pokemon, so heals 30 off the Goodra. Again, especially if your opponent's hitting into it with Cramorants or Sableyes, all of a sudden it takes a lot more turns to get through it. It's important there. 1 Roxanne, obviously very disruptive if you find yourself behind. It really helps you come back. 3 Boss, so a good number of Boss to help control what we're hitting into. 3 Mirage Gate, very important card, right? You can only use it when you have 7 cards in the Lost Zone, and then you search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards of different types. Then we play water and metal, and then you may attach them to your Pokemon any way you like. So a very useful, very good card, very important to getting the Goodra Vstar set up. 3 Nest Ball, get those basic Pokemon in play. 4 Colress's Experiment. Obviously, we need to Colress Experiment the first few turns of the game. It's our engine to get cards into our hand, as well as getting cards in the Lost Zone. Which is something we want to do to attack with Cramorant, to use Mirage Gate and such, right? 1 Choice Belt just to help with the math, and 1 Beach Court to help with switching. So that's the deck. That's the list I play. Some decks, at times I put Defiance Band in, but I think Defiance Band is not the best tool, but it's certainly something I have played around with. At times I have put in more Pokégear, because I do like Pokégear. If I were to drop something like a Fantina, it could become a Pokégear, could become an additional Beach Court. Those are some of the options there. Could put in additional Nest Ball too, possibly, with the deck. But it's a strong deck. Or again, could drop that Fantina and put in a V-Guard energy. That may help. Obviously, help that Goodra survive a little longer is very important. So yes, I want to go first, right? It's evolution. I could go second and try to attack with the Cramorant on my first turn. It's certainly possible, but okay, good. It looks like I may be up against Mew. That makes my life difficult. If I want to get that Fantina set up, not loving this set of cards, I gotta say. Yeah, up against Mew. So what am I going to do here? I need to get a Goodra into play, I'm pretty sure. So maybe I should have Comfey'd first, probably, to see what I had. Although that thins that card out of the deck too, right? So, all right, tankiness. I'll probably get more. I don't know if I'll get the 10 cards in the Lost Zone with Fantina, so I'm going to grab the Crystal Cave. Both of these cards are cards I'd like for this matchup, but it's not to be. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to discard my energy, get 2 more cards. That's not bad. Get another Comfey. Get a second card in the Lost Zone. I will Rope, because I think I want to attach my basic energy to my Goodra this turn. So I can use a second Comfey. Obviously, Scoop Up Net was very nice before rotation, because then, besides switching, it allowed you to... I like both those cards. All right, I'm going to go Choice Belt and assume I can live without the energy. I have to be careful, though. You can't Lost Zone too many energies, but you can Lost Zone some. So I will just attach and pass. If it's a Melony deck, they might be able to knock out my Goodra with the Fusion Strike build. Probably looks like it's not. They probably should have used their Chromatic first before attaching, right? You just want to get the best sequencing down. Just It may be the case that they're going to play that card no matter what, but it's still better to know. Well, that's good for me for sure. So they didn't get, because they would have grabbed the Battle VIP Pass with that, and they concede because they didn't like their setup. So I was certainly not assured the victory there, but obviously it did not set up well for them. So take a W there. Pleased about that. And we'll jump into another game because obviously we want to show the deck in action, right? Wasn't much action there. All right, I will call heads like I always do. I lose the coin toss. It's okay. I mean, this deck, if I go second, I might be able to attack turn one. Obviously, that's the hope if I go second. I would rather go first and get things set up, right, to attack. The quicker you can attack with the Goodra Vstar, the better. All right, so I go second. Not a surprise. Most decks want to go first. There are some decks, though, that do want to go second. Miraidon being probably the biggest one, and some Lost Zone, too. And I played Mew Meloetta before. With that, I was choosing to go second, although that was certainly a bit of a risky maneuver. So I get an extra card. All right, that's fine. So I might be able to attack up against Mew again. I do like the those sleeves, I gotta say. All right, so this time my opponent's getting a much better start. Get a couple Genesects down. All right, Force Seal Stone. So definitely going to be drawing cards. Probably good chance to fill up their bench. They hit heads, so they'll probably get a Battle VIP Pass, I would imagine. Get probably a Genesect and a Mew down, be my guess. We'll see what they do. Always kind of good to think through what your opponent would like to do. It's a twofold thing to me. First, am I making the right choices? Is my decision making correct? It's a test of that, right? Now my opponent might do a different play. It doesn't mean that I was always wrong, right? First off, my opponent, sometimes people make wrong choices. I know I do, and my opponents do sometimes also. That's obviously going to happen. And then also, but it also, more importantly, assuming my decision making is correct and my opponent's is, it lets me know what's in their hand. So Mirage Gate, good. I will. So I do want to attack with Cramorant. Okay, definitely want that. I don't have a switch card though, right? So I think. All right, I'm gonna Colress first. See what I hit into. So I'm willing to. Ooh, do I want the Fantina? 1, 2, 3. I think Comfey, Fantina, Energy. Fantina could be super helpful in this game, right? I don't need the Battle VIP Pass, I don't think, because I have access to a lot of cards, which I like. So I'll take a Cramorant, and I'll take a Goodra. I have Drapion in here. That's super. I do want to save that for 3 prizes. For sure. I assume they'll probably make me Lost Zone it, but that's okay, right? So I have 3 in the Lost Zone, so I will have to do a retreat. I will... Actually, no, I don't. I will get... Oh, I should have paid it. That's right. The Radiant Greninja was not there last time. I should have made note of that. So what do I want to get into play? I'll play it safe and get down another Drapion. I mean, another Goodra, sorry. Which isn't a bad play anyway. I'll get the water. I'll retreat off the water. That means I have to get a switch card if I'm going to be able to attack this turn. Which is certainly possible, of course. I have a... Ooh, that's nice too, the Melony, though, huh? Wow. I think I will take the rope. I'll hit into him. I think that's my play. That was a tough... Maybe I should have gone the other way, though. Definitely was possible that I made a misplay there. Because next turn, obviously, the Melony would be super helpful. I attach here. Oh, I already attached per turn, right? Yeah, to retreat before. I'll just attack. So, I don't know. We'll see. I need Mirage Gate, but I need cards. I really need next turn. I need cards in the Lost Zone. Sorry, is what I thought I was trying to say. I imagine they'll knock out my active, which is okay. So they're going to take out a Goodra. But I'm glad I benched the second one, right? Because I can evolve this turn and attack. We'll see what happens. I can switch into Cramorant if that's what I'm left with. The fact that my Radiant Greninja is prized is a bit of a problem. I don't play Hisuian Heavy Ball, right? I'm just looking through. I don't think I remember that in the deck. So I'm just going to make a note here. I have the deck list. I usually have a deck list printed out. It's how I like to do things. So I'm making a note of Hisuian Heavy Ball. I have the deck list on the list lined up on the left with the current cards and the counts. As I make adjustments, I kind of pencil in those changes, and then I add optional cards such as Hisuian Heavy Ball. I just make right on the right hand side of the page. Therefore, it's a note to myself, hey, maybe I want to include that. So I really need a Colress Experiment. We'll see what I get. All right, I'm going to evolve that, and I think I'm going to have to... It's not good, though, is it? It's not good. So they use their V-Star power. I guess I'll retreat and take out... I'll take 2 prizes, which could help me, which could get me my... This could get me the Radiant Greninja, which will help. I don't love my spot, right? I'm playing catch-up in the prize race here. See what I draw, but extra cards is good. All right, Beach Court, that's helpful. Rope, helpful. Because I'm at 5, so I can get to my 7 cards now with my switching. I do have a basic, and I can attach an energy. All right, assuming... they don't knock out a Comfey, right? I can utilize both Comfeys with Beach Court and Rope. Even if they gusted up my Goodra, which I don't love, and hit into it, hopefully they don't knock it out. That would be obviously very bad if they did. Let's see. They played 2 Power Tablets, just checking what the odds of their one-shotting me are. And obviously, I'm a V Pokemon, so they can use Choice Belt, which I imagine they play also. See what they get here. If they attack into me and don't knock out my Goodra, then I will use the V-Star power, heal myself off, and a couple switches, and I should be able to attack with it this turn. We'll see what happens. So play the penny. I wasn't paying attention. I guess that was a Genesect, I assume, which they can then reuse. I guess that was largely the thin. Yeah, they only... All right. So, lost vacuum, thinning their hands some more. The penny play was a bit odd. They did that to thin, but maybe they couldn't have made... Maybe they didn't have the lost vacuum. If they had the lost vacuum, I think they probably should have done that play and saved the penny for later if it's more meaningful. So now... that's a concern, right? Now they're closer to one-shotting my Goodra. That's what I don't want to happen. So I haven't gotten to pull off Mirage Gate yet. So heads on Cramomatic, that's obviously a big deal. My Goodra Vstar is safe, though, because they played the penny, so they can't boss. And if they play rope, I will send up a Comfey. So my Goodra, I believe, is safe from their attacks. Let me know how you like the music and the sound effects. I could adjust the volume level of both. I could turn one or both of them off also. Pass to the peak. I have staged to bump it, so that's okay too. They can't judge me. All right, so not bad. Not great, but not terrible. That's what I'll say. All right, so I've got here, let's see, 1 energy there. Okay, so at the moment, I'm just looking at my energies because I do want to be able to, oh, Melony's quite nice. Okay, Melony, I like Melony. 6. Do I want to hit into this guy? I think I want to use the switch. I think I want to rope. See what they send up. I'm going to use Melony, I'm pretty sure, to set up my Goodra. All right, so I'll have knockout there, which is nice. At least I should. I'm still not fully guaranteed, right? But I could have gotten a Nest Ball to try, excuse me, try to get down another Goodra. So that's 7 there. So I want to. I should have the energies. Yep, I do. Quite nice. Oh, Melony. That's not bad either. Maybe I'll leave the Path to the Peak and play at this point. It shuts their abilities off, right? At this point, I knock them out. I could play an energy to someone. I wish if I had a V down, I would do that. It might be better though. Just might be better. Not getting that another V. As I was sorry, I'm pausing my thought in the middle of. I'm saying something while I'm thinking about the game. So I could play the V next turn. I mean, I might get judged, of course, or Roxanne. So I'm ahead in the prize count. I could potentially win next turn. Not really. I can't. No, I can. I'm sorry. I can knock out a V. Right. I can't knock out the V max, but I can knock out a V, and I have Drapion also. Right. That's true. I forgot about Drapion. I'm a silly person there. It's nicer not having to use the Drapion. So let's see. I don't believe they knock me out. I have Boss as it stands now. We'll see what happens. They're still drawing through. They may play Roxanne or Judge. They may lose. So they're just thinning their hand down there for another Genesect, I assume, which is their last Genesect they have here. Let's see. Okay, I was checking. They did have one more Genesect available to them, and they got that in play. So now, getting a bunch of cards here. I don't believe they used their supporter yet, so supporter disrupts me, obviously. Drapion wins me the game also, although Path shuts down Drapion, so I don't believe they have knockout. If they do, they did not, so that is game for me. 200, so I will just boss up a Genesect. Floricora would change the math here too, but I'll just chuck him on for good measure, just in case I miss something. I shouldn't, because it tells me the numbers, right? You know, before it didn't tell you the numbers, you didn't need to. So there we go, up against Mew, and didn't need the Drapion. And that's another fact, you know, another thing to think about with the deck. You have the Drapion in the deck to help with the Mew matchup, but if you win the matchups without needing the Drapion, then you can consider cutting the Drapion, right? Because a deck slot for something else is certainly useful. Starting Drapion is almost never a good thing, right? Even in a matchup like this, where you want to play the Drapion, you want to hide it, keep it safe till you need it, and most of the time you don't want Drapion at all, in which case it's just a liability in play. So cutting the Drapions is a question to keep in mind with the deck. And as I'm just thinking through the deck, what might I want to do, right? I'm not going to play another game. Deck worked pretty well. Maybe a penny, I'm thinking too, just to get something, scoop up a basic Pokemon, right? Obviously, it does get, with the Drapion in the deck, it gets the Drapion out of play when you want to. It gets a Comfey, Radiant Greninja Cramorant out of play that's got damage counters on it. And certainly like the game Radiant Greninja got hit into with Cramorant, if I pennied it up, that has some advantages too, right? I'm just making sure I'm not confusing my cards, right, Penny? Yeah, put the basic Pokemon with all attached cards into your hands. So it doesn't help with the V-Star, obviously, but getting those basic, but most of the cards are basic, so Penny could be included in the deck too. Just kind of, you know, when you play decks, you want to think about the options, the ideas, you know, what cards might be useful, right? I've looked at some lists of other players that helped me make, you know, like I saw Energy Recycler in someone's deck. I was like, well, that makes a lot of sense. I knew Cave was played some decks play Cave, some don't. I like the tankiness of the decks. I would lean into that more heavily, so I include the Cave. Some decks are 0 Cave to Beach Court for the retreating, right? There's different ways to go about it, right? So anyway, so this is the build I have. Again, some of the ideas, Penny, Hisuian Heavy Ball. Think about those. Let me know if you like the deck, and do let me know if you like the music and the sound effects. Is it distracting? Is it hard to hear me? Is it a plus? Anyway, try out the deck. I've always found Goodra to be a fun deck. I like tanky decks, and it is a very solid play. Take care.